You know, I don't cover Jesse Waters often because I told you guys I cover Morning Joe because I think there's something to be learned there because they're state media. You gotta know I don't cover this guy because he is so unserious. He is such a partisan hack. I usually don't even get anything out of showing him to you guys. The only reason I'm even showing you guys this guy is because Mike Johnson joins them. You know the Speaker of the House? The Speaker of the House gave a speech at Columbia condemning the protest. So guess who's going to praise Speaker Johnson for letting the protesters know what's good? He loves the fact that Mike Johnson is scolding the protesters the same way that Joe Scarborough loves the fact that people are bashing protesters. They legitimately hate the concept of people protesting their government. So this is only 4 minutes, but I don't think we're going to watch the whole thing. I'm going to show you guys how the right wing, the people who used to be for freedom of speech, Glenn Greenwald, who friend of the show, he was very honest about something. And he called out Jesse Waters by name. Because Glenn Greenwald, maybe a few weeks ago, said something that I think was very refreshingly honest. He said, I used to do segments with Jesse Waters, where he used to go on his show and talk about left-wing social warriors, snowflakes, who was against free speech. And then he said he kind of regret doing those shows because the only reason he did those shows was because he actually thought that Jesse Waters was principle of free speech. And ever since October 7th, Glenn Greenwald reached out to Jesse Waters because they was friends. Because Glenn went to debate him on live about his hypocrisy when it comes to he used to mock social justice warriors, like the purple-haired college girl for quote-unquote feeling unsafe on campus. He used to mock black students for quote-unquote feeling unsafe on campus. So Glenn exposed, he said this publicly, that he reached out to Jesse Waters and demanded to debate him because he was disgusted at the hypocrisy of this guy who was pretending to care about free speech. Now, listen to this segment. I'm going to play as much as I can. We almost done. I already went longer than I want to. So I'm not going to stay on this too much longer. I just want to show you guys just a little bit of it to show you guys how fucking batshit crazy our country has become.
Well, House Speaker Mike Johnson crashed Hamas's spring break at Columbia today, and here's how it went.
David. Enjoy your free speech.
I am still to this day trying to decipher what that means. Because during this speech, I don't have to play speech because that would take way too much time. But during the speech, when he was getting heckled the entire speech, because I don't know how he expected it to go. But during the whole speech, he getting heckled because it's not his audience. And he said, enjoy your free speech. Guys, chat, I'm asking you guys, what do you guys think he mean by that? I legitimately don't know.
It sounds sarcastic, like you're not gonna have free speech for much longer.
Exactly.
I think he honestly had a mask off moment and he said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Cause remember, this guy was a backbencher. He was propelled to speakership. He's very new, very young. So I think he was triggered. He said the quiet part out loud on accident. I think that's a good way to interpret it. Maybe it's a jab. Maybe a very unfunny job. I don't get why you would possibly say the quiet part out loud like that. It absolutely doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
But once again, as I told you before, our current oligarchy is incompetent. They don't understand that you're not supposed to say this out loud. But I'll let the video continue because now Jesse Waters is going to bring Mike Johnson on. Once again, the only reason I'm showing you guys Jesse Waters, as absurd Morning Joe is, I think there's value in breaking down their state content. There is no value in breaking down Jesse Waters' culture war-ridden show, the most deeply unserious show on cable. But since he's going to have the Speaker of the House on, we might as well. So it's going to be tough, guys.
Some of the student organizers are part of a group called Jewish Voices for Peace.
Anti-Israel encampments are popping up at universities all across this country. The madness has to stop. The madness has to stop.
Speaker, years ago, Ahmadinejad, the Iranian leader, spoke at Columbia University. Not a single person shouted them down, yelled, "You suck," but you get treated worse than he did. How do you feel about it?
Woohoo!
We did our job today. We spoke out. Thanks to John Lovitz for letting his voice be heard. I wish more people would. He's exactly right. We have to call this madness out for what it is. It was chaos on that campus. I mean, we were looking out to a sea of students' faces with rage. So many of them, Jesse, don't even know what the heck they're talking about. They don't.
So for one, and he's gonna get to a lot of bullshit. So I had to stop here because he's gonna get to a lot of bullshit really fast, JB. So I'm gonna pass it right to you. But you guys see how they are condemning people for protesting? The reason why there are mass waves of people who are angry, that's a failure on your behalf, sir. Guys, the government don't give you permission to protest. If people are upset that people are protesting, that's a failure of the government. But before he continue, I'll pass to you, JB, because he's gonna hit us fast, really fast and really hard. So go ahead, JB. I want you to chime in, and I'm gonna let it continue.
Hang on. Why did they have that video next to him with that red filter like that?
So much propaganda. So let's go back. I'm gonna play what his full. Trust me, JB, you're gonna want to chime in because I know exactly what he's about to say here. It's literally crazy, and it's also shocking how weak their arguments are. And you're gonna see as I continue the video, they are in order to be a Zionist now and forever. You're going to have to live in the echo chamber. You're going to have to only talk to Jesse Waters. You're going to only talk to the people in the ruling class. From now on, I promise you guys, because even the right wing is turned on it, the populists, like meaning the populists, the people on the ground, the non-Mike Johnson, the people who vote Republican, even they are starting to turn against it. So the only way you can get away with this shit, Zionists going to have to remain in the echo chamber for the rest of their life. Even if they get away with it using authoritarianism, even if Israel stay alive because of authoritarianism and state violence, you're going to see how weak their arguments are, and they're going to get destroyed by the rest of their life. Listen to this.
We were looking out to a sea of students' faces with rage. So many of them, Jesse, don't even know what the heck they're talking about. They don't know what Hamas has done. They deny the facts of October 7th. Some of them denied 9/11. I mean, they're...
Citation needed, for one. Citation needed, for one. Secondly, I can destroy you guys so many different ways. I'm going to take what you say as face value. So for one, we all know his claim that these students don't know what they're talking about is untrue. The people that hit the streets are usually the most informed. That's why they're hitting the streets, because they know what the government is doing. The people who don't hit the streets, these are the people who are asleep. The people who don't know what's going on, the people who just going across their lives. So just in general, the people who hit the streets know what's going on. Now, secondly, he said these people don't even know what Hamas did on October 7th. So let's put aside the 1,000 ways I can say this, and let's take it one way. Even if we accept, Mike Johnson, even if we accept every claim that you say about Hamas on October 7th, which we don't, but for the sake of simplicity, let's say we do. You guys realize if you're 100% correct about Hamas on October 7th, that still does not justify genocide. There is no exception in international law for revenge. So even if I wasn't a radical and I condemned Hamas, I would still be against your genocide, because nothing Hamas did or nothing anyone could do can justify destroying and breaking international law. As I said many times before, this one sentence ratioed countless Zionists. Guys, if you want to get some ratios, learn this one line. There's no exception in international law for revenge. Do you guys have any idea how many people are ratioed just by saying that? It utterly destroys their entire argument. I'm gonna play this a little bit more because I'm actually very tired too. I had a long ass week, guys. You know, dropping 4 hotspots a week. You gotta know that's how much work that is. Do Distance Live yesterday, hosted their show for 2.5 hours. Then I would join Nico for 2 hours yesterday. Then we had Nick at Night on Tuesday, and then we had Post Office. Bro, we're dropping banger after banger after banger. So please like and subscribe. I got another hotspot video I'm releasing tomorrow, and I'll take tomorrow off. So I hope you guys got a lot of content to catch up on. There's a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna play just one more clip of this. I'm gonna interact with the video one more time, and I can wrap it after that because I think there's no more important points. You guys see how crazy they are. I just want to play a little bit more what Mike Johnson says here. Also, because when I watched this segment, I was literally shocked at how bad their arguments against the protesters are. Like, the only way they can get away with this is if they stay in an echo chamber because I can destroy and literally anyone. I'm not patting myself on the back here. Literally anyone can destroy these arguments. That's why they got to stay in the echo chamber. So let's listen to
them, Jesse, don't even know what the heck chaos on that campus. I mean, we were looking out to a sea of students' faces with rage. So many of them, Jesse, don't even know what the heck they're talking about. They don't know what Hamas has done. They deny the facts of October 7th. Some of them denied 9/11. I mean, they're out there waving Palestinian and Hamas flags, identifying with terrorists and saying death to America on our own soil. The American people are not putting up with this, and Congress isn't either.
You heard Lovett.
The American people are the ones in the street. So I'm going to let it play because I always said one more introduction, but I'm going to let Jesse Waters ask his next question.
Say he's seeing the beginning of what could be just a massacre, what he saw in Germany, what we all witnessed there. Do you see the beginning of that, or is this just people getting out of control?
If we don't bring order to this chaos, it could escalate. I mean, clearly, by some estimates, there was a Fox News report a couple of days ago, maybe 200 campuses have some form of this.
He's literally advocating for pro-fascist ideology. He's saying that we don't implement fascism and forcibly suppress our dissidents, which is a key tenet of fascism, is the suppression of dissent. He said if we don't suppress the dissent, then the protests will spread like wildfire. Oh my God. You are not supposed to say the quiet. I am literally dying watching these people say the quiet part out loud, man. We must stop the protest against our genocide, or the entire protest, or the entire country will start protesting. I thought you said the American people was against this, Mike. It's almost like when you say the American people, you mean his Zionist donors. This is, I said many times on the show, people who probably watch new subscribers probably don't know, but I'm very careful with my words. I was very critical of the Bernie left who had Trump derangement syndrome, who used to call all Trump voters fascists. Like if you watch the early day at FHO, you used to hear these criticisms. I mean, you guys are really dumbing down what fascism is if you guys are shaming just average people who feel for propaganda as fascists. But I am someone who truly believe in using words the way they meant. And I believe I've been extremely consistent. The reason why we don't use fascism the way that many liberal Bernie supporters were using before, just to describe average Trump supporters, is because it's watered down what fascism really means. When you see a motherfucker like this, all the people who was calling just a random Trump supporter a fascist, you completely watered down that word, because when I use it, when I'm using what it actually means, forcibly cracking down on dissent as a key tenet, giant police states as a key tenet, destructions of workers' rights as a key tenet, that applies directly to what Mike Johnson is advocating right here. Cracking down on dissent against authoritarian government. You had the majority of the American people, including 58% of white evangelicals. You guys understand that white evangelicals are his base? I'm gonna say, I've showed this receipt 1,000 times, but you guys know I'm very receipt based. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But I posted this. I did a hotspot video about it. I'm gonna show you guys this because I think this is what I cover. How the American people are actually against Speaker Johnson, and he knows that, which is why he wants to crack down on the protests before they spread, because they know even his fucking base, the white evangelicals, gonna hit the streets soon. Damn, I can see communists roasting me for that. I may be too enthusiastic. But things are getting so crazy, man. We've seen crazier things. So I think this is, so instead of digging for the source for this, you guys know, unlike the propagandist corporate media, unlike a lot of independent media, I'm not just expecting you guys to believe whatever I say. I'm going to show my work. When you watch RBN, even though I am a radical communist, I am more radical than 99% of this country. I can back up everything I say with receipts. That is what gives RBN legitimacy. We don't get legitimacy because we don't have PMC titles. We can't rely on being a doctor, having a master's degree. So we get our legitimacy by being accurate, by showing our work. So I'm gonna show you guys my hotspot video that directly rebukes what what Speaker Johnson says regarding American people not being behind it and why they need fascist police to crack down on Israel. So I'll watch this video and then I'll read super chats and we wrap up.
The American people continue to reject Israel's genocidal war in Gaza. We have 70 cities all across the United States that passed resolutions calling for a ceasefire. All 70 of those cities are agents of Hamas. We also seen recent polling that showed the majority of the American people want a ceasefire in Gaza. Majority of Americans are agents of Hamas. What's very interesting about these numbers is that they go completely counter to the corporate media narrative regarding the Israel-Gaza war. You want to know what's truly shocking about this poll? The main driver of Zionism in the United States, evangelical Christians, 58% of them support a ceasefire in Gaza. Majority of evangelical Christians are agents of Hamas. Bro, do you guys have any idea how much Israel is fucking up if they are losing white evangelical Christians? What's also truly damning to Zionism is the fact that we have half of American Jewish people who call for a ceasefire as well. Those Jewish Americans are agents of Hamas? Do you guys see how Zionism as an ideology is used as a fascist tool to silence the voices of peace-loving Jewish people? What does this say about this sham of a democracy, this capitalist dictatorship, that we allow a genocidal apartheid state to override the will of the American people?
Banger after banger, my friends. I told you. This was like 6 weeks ago. I'm dropping 4 hotspots videos a day. I have fun with these. Our boy, me and Greg, we be having a blast with these. If you guys don't know, Greg is my editor. He helped me edit these. We be having fucking a blast cooking these hotspots together. And then CBS and a lot of these other TikTok people be trying to steal what we do. Me and Nico was talking about this yesterday. Nico called him out on Twitter in a viral thread. Like, you guys trying to steal our style. It's not so easy, isn't it? These motherfuckers will drop one video. They'll drop 2 videos because they come up with 1 or 2 ideas. You guys know how hard it is to come up with these videos 3 or 4 times a week where you have to produce content, but we still come up with bangers because there's so much to report on. Make sure you guys follow Hotspot. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now you guys see what Mike Johnson said is ridiculous. He is not fighting for the will of the American people. He is literally a fascist who wants to suppress the will of the American people.